You are welcome to my channel. This is Tuntum Network. I'm Cyrus. I'm happy to come your way again. We have a very, very important person in the studio. This is a man who has attempted in the past to run for president, and today we are lucky to have him here. He is Addai Odike. He started off as the founder of the United Front Party. He transitioned to the United Progressive Party and the Union Government. Is it the Union Government? And now they've joined forces with other political parties, including independent parties, with the movement for change led by Mr. Alan Kyeremanten, to build that third force in Ghana to possibly remove either of the two parties that we have. Today we have him here. Mr. Addai Odike, you are welcome to Tuntum Studio.
I'm grateful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm looking at the trajectory of your political career, trying to get into power. I see you started from United Front, you went to United Progressive, and then the Union Government. What is happening with all that?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and let me claim your indulgence to address the good people of this country.
Okay.
First of all, we started with, as it were, United Front Party.
Right.
And our headquarters was in Ashanti region, and it was formed with some people, defected people from MPP.
Okay.
And as we were mobilizing resources, both hard and soft, MPP were giving us a lot of tough time along the way.
Okay.
And they infiltrated, they succeeded
in infiltrating your first party?
Yes.
So that is the reason you started the second?
Yes.
Okay.
And this time around, the second one, Akufo-Addo MPP again thought that if I'm given the chance to build this party, it will give MPP a hot chase for their own money. So I just heard it on the radio that EC has revoked my license.
And you suspect it's the MPP?
Oh, it's politically motivated, I know.
Okay.
I know everything. So I decided to go on independent.
But let me ask you real values here. If you suspected, was it based on a specific percentage that you had in the previous election that they thought if you bring that same percentage into that election, it will create a problem? For example, Parkwesi Ndum at a point had more than 2%. And that was enough to turn the whole thing into a runoff. Was your percentage that big enough to become a threat to the MPP?
No, that wasn't the case. But then, with UFP,
right,
we were very naive in Ghanaian politics.
Okay.
So as I grew within the political spectrum,
right,
they thought the way people are giving me audience
and attention,
right, if they don't truncate mine,
it will become a real threat. Wow. So now you have totally given up as a flag bearer of a political party to join forces with the movement for change. Is this something temporal, or would you come back to your party someday?
Oh, it's for the purpose of this election.
Okay.
And also that has been the aspirations of Ghanaians, that why don't you all come together,
right,
to break the dominance duopoly of empire?
Right, right.
So I thought it wise to sacrifice,
right,
this time around,
okay,
to join force with other 9 organizations.
So 10 organizations has come together.
Yes, please.
Wow, that's big.
Yes.
In terms of percentages, what are you anticipating in the elections this year? Can you get to 5% of the total vote? Do you think it's possible?
Before I joined this force, Alan Kyeremanten has been rated 12% already.
Yes, by I think one of the groups that did the survey. And yes.
When we started moving, when I joined, our first destination was Koforidua.
Right.
And
the crowd came out.
I was so impressed. Then we moved to Tamale.
Right.
Hey, we are winning this election.
You are winning this election.
Because I don't join a losing movement.
In my estimation, I think it's going for a runoff and possibly a third round or fourth round. I think that is possibly going to happen. You don't think so?
No, because it's too early to, come out with this.
Okay.
But I know the kind of strength, the kind of preparations behind scenes, and I know the kind of people who are involved
In the coalition.
is to.
Why did you have to? What did you see about Alan? Is it Alan that made you attracted to the movement for change? What is it about Alan that made you want to add up to their numbers?
When he started, he was preaching about government of national unity.
Okay.
But then I have already come out with union government.
Right. Which I've read part of your book.
So it was on the same page. We were on the same page. So wherever he goes, the people will tell him, Odike has started this union government.
Okay.
So why don't you bring him on board?
Right.
So he invited me. That the kind of conversations that has been ensued, he thought it twice for us to come together. Before then, he has already called Abu Sakara,
right,
CPP.
Right.
So I was the third to be called, a second to be called. And I thought twice
to join them
because of what Ghanaians are
looking for. Will you be offended if you are not the running mate?
Not at all, and I'm not expecting that.
You are not expecting that
because per the architectural structure of our campaign and everything, we need to have a regional balance.
Okay.
And Alan Kyeremanten happens to be from Ashanti.
Correct.
I'm also from Ashanti.
Correct.
So that alone.
Okay. Okay. So you have to bring somebody from a different region.
Yes.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Now, going into 2024 elections, it's not going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of campaigning starting maybe 2 months from now. What message is Movement for Change? One message on your banner. What is that message?
Our message is very simple. It is great transformational plan.
That is Alan Kyeremanten's message.
Of course, because he owns it.
Right.
And we cannot do para campaigning.
Right.
So we have, under this, there are several clusters. Governance cluster, economic cluster, agricultural cluster. So we've blended all the input from these other 9 organizations to formulate a strong plan that will.
When you say great transformational, is a plan, what does it mean? Give me an idea. What does that even mean?
Plan means identify a problem and professing solutions to those problems. It's not a promise.
Okay.
Ours is not a manifesto. The manifesto gives promises.
Right.
But we identify the problems.
And you prescribe the solution.
Perfect.
So what one problem have you identified in this country that the solution is coming through Alan? What is that problem and what is that solution?
One of on the agri sector.
Okay.
We are going to buy foodstuffs like cocoa board.
Okay.
Through a public-private partnership.
You are going to buy all the foodstuffs.
Yes.
From farmers.
From farmers.
Directly. And then sell to the people?
Sell to the institutions and the people. When we do that, we offer the farmer ready market. And it has happened before. Ash Food and City Food used to do that. So we are going to widen the scope. Or, for example, buffer stock and
right.
Others. These private sector are going to buy it. We are going to empower them through the banks to buy them and store them.
But you have missed out on one very important thing. Farmers are doing small bits of farming. Their land sizes are small. They don't have machines to do bigger farms. And yet you are depending on these same, small scale farmers to supply to the government. Is that what you are going to depend on?
No.
Or you are going to establish your own farms?
No. We are going to give them ready market first for them to get the assurance that if they expand their farm, the market is there for them. When we start from there, then mechanized agriculture is the next step, of which is going to be agribusiness.
And that will be in which year if you should win election? Is it the first year, the second year? Which year are you going to start all this?
Immediately we win the elections, all the policies kickstart.
Really? I see. You know, Nana Addo was speaking about in lines of all these. He mentioned great. He's going to empower the farmers. He's going to empower this. He's going to empower businesses, and he couldn't do that. We still have shortages of food in this country. What makes you think that Alan leading the movement for change can do what Nana Addo couldn't do?
Have you ever heard of government buying foodstuffs within Akufo-Addo's administration?
I think there was a time when there was food shortages in Accra, and the Minister of Agriculture went out there to buy plantain and sold it at his ministry. I think that was the only time.
It's not that kind.
It's not that kind.
No. A nationwide mobilization of foodstuffs to be supplied to government institutions like secondary schools, universities.
Right.
And then the balance will be exported to neighboring countries.
Have you considered the road network, the bad state of our road network that you have to travel on? How would you even have access when the road is so bad when it rains? Because that has been our major problem. The cassava is rotting on the farm. The plantain is rotting on the farm, especially tomatoes. How do you even get access to the land in order to buy, bring it to Accra, and do all the things you said you want to do?
And that's why we are partnering the private sector. When we do that, they will be giving vehicles to reach out to the farmers at the farm gate prices and bring them to the cities.
Government will give vehicles.
No, we are going to empower the private sector.
Okay.
To go to reach out to the farmers.
Okay.
At the farm gate.
Okay.
To purchase them.
Right.
And bring them to the nearest depot.
All right.
To be supplied within the supply chain.
I see.